The following is a presentation of William Patterson University Television, WPTV.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of WP Sports Desk here on WPTV. I'm your host, Maury Rose, and Cupid must have hit us last week for Valentine's Day, but we are back for another great episode of The Desk. And joining me today, we have Anthony Walker with WP Basketball, Joe Palantonio with the MLB, and Justice Gregg with the NBA. Anthony, what's cooking up with the Pioneers?
Well, Samori, the Pioneers have their last games of the season before the playoffs. The men's team will face off against Rutgers Camden this week, so we'll break that down. The women's team dropped their previous game against NJCU, so we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the men's and women's teams. They both booked the playoff spot. So for the men's team, we'll talk about their biggest X factor going in the playoffs, and for the women's team, we'll talk about their biggest strength, also heading into the NJAC tournament.
It's going to be fun to see what the Pioneers do in the playoffs. It's nice to see both of the Pioneers, the Lady Pioneers, and the men's Pioneers, both in the playoffs. But, Joe, we're going to move along to you. The MLB season is heating up. Pitchers and catchers have reported, and spring training games are right underway. So what's cooking up in the MLB?
This is great. Baseball season is on the horizon. It's almost time for live baseball back again. I know I'm excited. A lot of guys coming in to 2021 looking for a breakout season. We're going to talk about which guys we can expect to have a breakout season. The Mets and the Padres, both looking really hot, big off seasons. We're going to compare, we're going to contrast who's the better team. We'll get into it. Fernando Tatis Jr., a monster extension to stay in San Diego for a very, very long time, but was it worth it? We'll talk about this. And last, certainly not least, Seattle Mariners president Kevin Mather had to resign after some comments came out. We're going to talk about those and what they mean for the game of baseball.
Yeah, it's unfortunate what's going down with the Mariners, but it's going to be interesting to see what's going on in the MLB. Fun MLB block we got ready. And going from the MLB to the NBA, the All-Star break is right around the corner. Justice, what's going on in the NBA?
We have a lot going on, Samori. The Nets have seemed to have it figured all out. You know, they're on an 8-game winning streak without KD, so we're going to talk about what we've seen from them. And the Jazz are still on the top of the West, and with the newest injury to Anthony Davis, we're going to talk about their chances of getting to the finals. And like you said, the All-Star break is coming up, so we're going to talk about our biggest All-Star snubs, and with the trade deadline coming up, we're going to talk about which teams need to make moves the most.
Oh, I can't wait for today's episode. You know, we get the last episode of February, so you know we're going to have some fun. But let's take a 2-minute drive down to the Rec Center as we break down all the action for the ladies and men's Pioneers. Stay here on WPTV.